need to know going into this particular draft, Friedge, and how should we be looking at this thing as a whole?
Well, first of all, I was in there for rehearsal this morning. You're not allowed to post any photos on social or anything like that, but it looks spectacular. Like, just on the visuals itself, it is, I don't know if anyone's been there. It looks terrific, and it's going to be a great show. Visually, it'll be a stunner. The number one pick tonight from the San Jose Sharks will be a young man by the name of Macklin Celebrini. His father, Rick, has been a long time strength and, I don't even know what the proper way to call him is. It's like strength and conditioning, sports performance, science. He's one of the best at it. He works for the Golden State Warriors. A couple of years ago when the Golden State Warriors were in Chicago, Draymond Green went with him and Steve Kerr went with him to watch his son play for the USHL team in Chicago. Didn't have a great game that night, and they left after 2 periods, but they could tell he was a real pro. He's not as spectacular as the Rookie of the Year this year, Connor Bedard, who plays for the Blackhawks, but he's extremely talented, and he's going to be a very good NHL player for a long time. He will help kickstart what the Sharks hope is their big rebirth. He's the number one pick.
All right, we'll all smoke CBD out here and watch the Sphere do its thing. Like that is what you do. We actually have been in the Sphere. We were blessed by
U2.
And what's his
Bono.
Bono played some deep cuts, which we're very thankful for. It was Super Bowl week.
No, we aren't. That concert sucked, and everyone knows it.
Wait, you didn't like the U2 concert?
No.
Dude, listen,
and I love
Parker, we're not getting into this.
Jesus.
We're not getting into
U2 fans.
We are not. I am not a U2 fan, but I went in there, I experienced the Sphere. I knew 2 songs. And I think when we were driving to the Sphere for the concert and driving away from the Sphere for the concert, I knew like more than I thought of U2. I knew like 15, 20 U2 songs. Didn't hear any of them. He was playing basically an album, I think, because he was doing
Acting Baby.
Don't like that.
Yeah, bingo. Brutal. It was Super Bowl week. It was Super Bowl week.
Play the hits, brother.
Yeah. Hello.
Didn't play it.
Yeah. Where the streets have no name. Didn't play it.
Didn't play it.
With or without
But
you.
he did play that one song.
They didn't play that?
No.
They didn't play any of their good songs.
None of them.
Slide a hand and twist of fate.
There you
Didn't
go.
play it.
Yeah. We were playing that in Soundcheck yesterday, actually.
Well, you're playing it more than they were playing at Super Bowl week at the Sphere. And then there was also this one Sphere, because how all-encompassing the Sphere, it is awesome. It's
crazy.
Incredible.
It is
so cool.
A phenomenal place for a show, and hopefully the NHL gets it right. Ice and all this shit.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't even fathom what they'll do, although you saw it earlier today.
Yeah.
There was this one song, and obviously you're in Vegas, so 250 milligrams, maybe 300 milligrams.
Yeah, at least.
Trying to do it, trying my best to get in there.
Really?
Be a part of the show. Just ran all the worst words for
Oh, yeah.
2.5 minutes straight.
Yes.
Brutal.
Every
really
word,
bad. Really tough one.
Every word in your head right now that is a bad word, makes you feel bad. Like words that are just out there that just are not a fun word to hear ever. When you talk like crimes,
death, murder,
rape, incest,
abortion,
mass murder, like that.
Didn't go well with 300 milligrams.
Well,
the way they
actually,
did it,
I was A-okay, but as I was watching it, I'm like, what are we doing?
and they spammed him too with like flashing strobe lights. Like it was like a
full on. It was interesting the way his art was displayed. Then there was a balloon.
The balloon bit was pretty cool.
But then
the
nobody
door.
came through the door.
Yeah,
Exactly.
when he's singing to you through the door, though.
We need you to do a Sphere show, and then we would like to be a part of the consultation.
Were like seats vibrating and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, it was that
but
cool?
concert,
Not enough.
You want to stand though, so it's an interesting dynamic. Like you two, obviously incredibly talented. They sold the place out. We paid, I think it was like 30 or 60,000 for a suite, 60,000 for a suite. I mean, that is, you're going to make a good amount of money in there. Yeah. But I assume the Sphere is going to be awesome tonight for all parties, not just diehard YouTube.
I'll tell you this: when my eyes were closed there, I really thought I was listening to U2 perform. It was just like the same thing.
Thank you.
Fried.
Thank you very much.
He's not lying.
Yeah, we don't need it. Big question in the hockey world, obviously, right now. Go ahead, Con.
Yeah, Elliotte, right now there's a lot going on with the Oilers. Obviously, their GM's leaving. Is he definitely done with hockey, or is there a chance that he comes back? And then also Leon Draisaitl. I know the Bruins right now on some sports books are the odds-on favorite to get him if he were to be traded. Is that something that we might see this offseason as well?
This is what, first of all, with Ken Holland, I think that he will have a lot of options. I think that there's teams that are going to reach out to him. Do you want to be a consultant? Do you want to be an advisor? Like I've heard Utah, the new Utah team is one of the teams that's interested in maybe having him come on as an advisor. He'll be able to take some time.
Oh,
to pick
really?
where he wants to go. Yes.
Really? Utah's thinking about it?
I think they're interested. Yes.
That would make sense because if you think about what Ryan Smith did when he got an NBA team, he said, "Who's really good at like making teams?" He goes, "Danny Ainge, you're coming in,
best ever."
And then if you get an NHL team and you've had success with that, why don't you just do the same thing? And now the Edmonton guy's contract is up. That feels like right. Doesn't that feel like
I don't think he'll be I don't think he'll be in charge of running the hockey ops. But if they pursue him, I think it'll be as kind of an advisor or a consultant kind of thing, not overall president of hockey.
Because he doesn't want the full schedule of doing that and what that would be, or
I just right now the position's not open, right? They filled it, and also I'm not sure that I'm not sure that he wants to do that. I think that it's he might want to golf a bit more. Who could fault him for that?
And what you say about Draisaitl? Go ahead.
What I would say about Draisaitl is this: I think that it was an emotional end of the season. I don't think you're going to see anything in the near future. Like there were some fans who said, "Hey, if Draisaitl's not committing, you got to trade him by the draft." The Oilers don't feel that way. There was the first day he can sign an extension is July 1st, and there were some people said, "Look, if you don't sign him by that day, we're going to panic, and you might have to do something." The Oilers don't feel that way. This is going to go into the summer, and they're going to hire a new general manager. And then they're going to sit down and they're going to talk about this. And the one thing I would say is, I don't think this is just a Leon Draisaitl negotiation. I think that Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are going to want to know what each other thinks. And, you guys played, the emotion of going all the way to Game 7 of a championship final and losing it. Like you are in no position to make a big decision about your future in the aftermath. So I think everybody's going to take a few weeks to decompress, think about how they feel, and I think not only are the Oilers going to talk to Draisaitl about his future, but I think it's going to be Draisaitl and McDavid talking with each other about how they see each other's futures, and then discussing it with the team. Like to me, this is a package thing.
What's that mean? That means they're both back, both gone, both this, both that. Are the Penguins getting Connor McDavid? Is that what I just heard?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, he's not available for 2 years, so you got to wait longer. No, that's not what you just heard. That's not what you just heard. I just think those two guys are going to sit down over the next couple of weeks and talk. They're really tight. They live not far from each other in the off season, and I think the two of them are going to talk about how they see the future and how that's going to work together.
Okay, so Gensel is potential free agent. He's going to be a big conversation piece, I assume.
So this is what I can tell you, Pat. This morning or sometime last night, the belief is that Gensel had an ask for Carolina, which I have not confirmed, but I believe it's 8 times 8. And I think the Hurricanes have indicated they will do that. They have said to him, we will do that contract. And I think at this point in time, we're waiting to see if it gets hammered out. There are some teams who believe he's going to stay. There are some teams who believe teams like Tampa Bay are waiting to see if it does happen. And if not, Tampa Bay and Vancouver, they'll try to take their runs at Gensel. But the word here in Vegas this morning is that Carolina has indicated they will match Gensel's ask, and they're willing to put together a contract.
Well, congratulations to the Caniacs.
All right.
Nothing is done until it's done. Nothing is done until it's done.
Well said.
Yeah, but
they have indicated they will match.
For the people in America who maybe don't know who this man is, this is like the Shefty rap sheet of the hockey world in Canada.
Yes.
So normally when old Freed is sniffing around on something, normally, and we appreciate that you did that for us there because, the Pittsburgh Penguins just said, get Gensel out of town. And then he leads them to to be the Stanley Cup favorites. And it's like, now I'm hearing he could be a free agent. It's like, we didn't have to trade. Like, what do we didn't even have to trade him.
Nope.
And then we were in a playoff hunt towards the end of this. I mean, a lot of shit happened in Pittsburgh I'm not happy about, but I'm not just going to direct this entire conversation about the Penguins. They got a sick new jersey from Fanatics. I saw it this morning. Yeah. It is amazing. Go ahead, AJ, your question for Freed.
Hey, what about the Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers? When Bill Zito and the boys, have a window of sobriety tonight when they're, in between celebrating everything, what are they going to do? What kind of holes do they feel like they might need to plug?
Well, I think their biggest free agent this year was Sam Reinhart, who scored 57 goals this season and had the winning goal in the Stanley Cup Final in Game 7. The belief has been, AJ, that they're going to sign him, and there's a lot of talk that they appear to have something done. The word last night was around the 8 years, 9, maybe 9.5 range. Again, nothing is done until it's done, but that was the word floating around here in Vegas. I'm putting myself out there a little bit today, so I hope some of these turn out to be right. But the belief is that Reinhardt's going to stay. They're also talking to another one of their playoff heroes from the last couple of years, Carter Verhaeghe, who's been a big postseason goal scorer for them. They hope to get an extension hammered out this weekend. They have indicated that those are two of the biggest deals that they want to get done the next little while. They have a couple of defensemen we're keeping an eye on. Brandon Montour is a free agent. It doesn't appear that they're going to have the ability or flexibility right now to get that done. So Montour could hit the market, and there'd be a lot of teams looking at him. And there was a report last night that Aaron Ekblad, who is the longest-serving Panther, the assistant captain, the defenseman, that they may be trying to trade him. He's got a year left on his contract, and they may have to move him to keep some flexibility. We'll see where that goes. But definitely Reinhart and Verhaeghe are their big targets. Reinhart appears close to locked up. Verhaeghe, they're going to work on this weekend.
It's crazy how quick it all comes for Zito and them.
Have to.
He was just He was just throwing a water bottle like 4 days ago, pissed off. Now he's a Stanley Cup champion, crying all over the place, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, your assistant captain, we gotta
replace him.
Gotta get him out of here. They talk about how close of a family that team is, and then the reality of professional sports kind of hits them right in the mouth just a couple of days later. I'm happy I'm not in that position. Tampa Bay, I guess Steven Stamkos is potentially on the move. Is that real?
Yes, that is real. The GM, Julian Brisebois, met with reporters this morning. He said, we have not been able to make a deal, and I'm not sure if we can. Don Meehan, the agent, said today that it appears as if he's headed to free agency on July 1st. A couple of things here. Number one, I remember a couple of years ago, Evgeny Malkin, they said free agent. The next day he got a deal done. So I am always careful. You should always make sure this doesn't do a quick swerve or something like that. But I think the challenge here with Stamkos is, if you look at the Lightning's history, their core players, they have always taken care of them a year out. Kucherov a year out, Vasilevsky a year out, Hedman a year out, Point a year out. They said today that Hedman, who has another year left in his contract, may be signing an extension as soon as Monday. They have never taken care of Stamkos in advance. He is a really friendly, polite, first-class guy. But even people like that reach a point, and I'm wondering if he's finally hit it. Remember, last time he got within 3 days of he got within 3 days of free agency and took the deal.
Right.
We'll see if he changes this time.
All right, Freed, we appreciate the hell out of you. What time is this whole thing taking place tonight?
7 o'clock Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
We can't wait to watch.